So if you've got a tuner, you want to use it, right? You've got a tuner in your radio and a tuner after your amplifier, and you want to use it, right? You worked really hard for those tuners. Oh boy. And you can't just pick one to use. You've got to use the right one. And the other one, we got to talk about that. Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Our question today comes from Dennis McAlpine, K2SX. We have a K0SX in our ham club. Wonder if you guys are related. Said, I was interested in your response about antenna tuners and series. I recently bought a KPA 1500 watt amp. The KPA 1500 is a serious amplifier. It's full legal limit. And it's designed by Videographed, same people who make the K4, the K3, and several other QRP radios. The output of my KPA amp goes into an LP100A RF watt meter and into a PAL-Star HE2K tuner, and then into the antennas. Normally, I keep the PAL-Star bypassed. One of my antennas is a 55-foot doublet, which requires a tuner. The KPA tuner will usually produce an SWR of 1.1 to 1 to 1.2 to 1, which is excellent SWR, nothing wrong with that, based on the KPA meter. However, the SWR on the L100 may be 3 to 5 to 1 or even higher in some bands. What is the actual SWR? If I tune the AT2K to minimum SWR and with the KPA 1500 turned off, not just on standby, to 1 to 1, and then turn on the KPA and tune at the SWR is 1.1 on both the amp and at the LP100A. Isn't this better than having the SWR at the LP100A at 1.4 to 1 or higher? Thanks from Dennis. We got to look at this. Okay, here's your exciter over here, which is a K3, puts out 100 watts and goes into a KPA 1500, which is an amplifier. And this comes out, depending on whether it's bypassed or not, this comes into your watt meter, I think. So you've got SWR slash watt. And then you've got a tuner, and this goes to your antenna. I'll mark the tuners in pink. There's a tuner here. There's a tuner in here. And there is a tuner in the tuner. The whole thing is a tuner. Okay? Now, if you're going to use this tuner, shut these two off. Off. Okay? Off. Bypassed. You don't use them. Now, what you do to tune this one is you transmit a signal when this is in bypass, okay, and then this goes through your SWR meter and you tune here, okay, and then when you turn the amplifier on, it's going to see a very nice match, okay, because what is being measured is the match, well, here, okay, or here, right there, it'll be right there. That SWR is what's being measured by this. You do not use this one because the K3 and the KPA are well matched. This is 50 ohm output and this is a 50 ohm input. Match, 50 ohm coax, match. No tuner required. No tuner should be used because the only thing you can do to what is otherwise a 1-to-1 SWR is make it worse. That's all you can do with that tuner is make things worse. This tuner right here should be turned off because this is 50 ohms. This is 50 ohms, okay? And this goes out to the antenna likely. 50 ohms also to whatever your antenna is, okay? So we got a match. 50 ohm input, 50 ohm output, 50 ohm cable, all right? That's turned off. The only thing you can do with that tuner is to make this whole thing worse. So we've got a tuner out here. Now, you don't need a tuner out there, by the way. because you've got a tuner here. You could go straight out to the antenna and skip all of that. You don't need it because there's a tuner in here, unless you need a wide range tuner, in which case you can put an external tuner out there. And if it really is wide range, I'd put that out via ladder line. Put a 9-to-1 balance somewhere down the coax. Why do you put these tuners in this bypass mode? The reason you put them in the bypass mode is the only thing they can do is make this situation here or this situation here worse, because they're already matched. Now I'm going to look here on my ICOM 7300, and now it's going to talk about a tuner. The tuner is on. Now the tuner is off. Now this will not attempt to tune anything. So if I've got an external tuner, that's the one I'm going to use. If I try to tune with this, and we'll just push it again so that it does tune. Okay, it took a very small thing to do. Next to the last one is SWR. I've tuned it. Okay, the SWR barely shows. Barely shows, okay? Now, if I turn the tuner off, got a little bit more of an SWR, but I really don't need that tuner in there because that's an excellent SWR right there. That antenna that we built out there is very, very nicely matched. If I have another tuner after here, I don't use it. I turn this one off. See, it's on, now it's off. And you want to do that with your K3, tuner off. The same thing on your setup in the KPA 1500. When you bypass it, it can still go through the tuner. Okay? If you bypass it, this is what you were talking about here, bypass versus being off. Being off, it goes straight through. In bypass mode, you still have to turn the tuner off. And then use this tuner. Now again, the only reason to put a tuner here is if you have some weird matching situation over here. Now you will read here the SWR at this point. If you use the tuner, you are reading the SWR at the input to the KPA 1500's tuner. And it will be different from what it is here, because by changing the tuning here, you're getting this line all mixed up. So off, off, on. This tune, don't tune with the amp on. Tune with the amp off. Actually, all you need is about 5 watts to tune this tuner. Okay, and then turn off the bypass. You can transmit, read the real SWR that the amplifier is looking at, and then this tuner right here will make it look really nice, okay? It's not good for the tuner because the tuner feels like it's got to go to work when really it doesn't, okay? There should be one tuner in the system, and that's the one closest to the end. Now, if you did away, the voltmeter you can leave there, but it's going to read the SWR, the actual antenna, and feed line combination, okay? But you can use the tuner in the KPA 1500 to tune it, and then it'll look great. The 1500's SWR meter measures the SWR before it goes into the internal tuner. That's why you can get these widely varying results. Turn that off, turn the K3 tuners off, use one tuner, okay? So I think that will answer your question, and I'm almost positive that that's what's going wrong out there. Now, you're trying to create a 55-foot doublet. A 55-foot doublet absolutely will require a tuner. That antenna is too short for anything. It's really too short for 40 meters. It's way too short for 80 meters. Way, way too short for 160 meters. It'll do okay on 20 or 30, okay? But you've got a real high SWR there on almost all bands. So that's why I recommend using ladder line as your feed line. What I do is take 50 ohms, pretty hefty 50 ohms, like RG213 or LMR 400, outside to the outside, and then down to your ground rod, where you have your lightning arrestor. And then right after that, putting in a 9-to-1 balance and taking it out of there as ladder line and feed that doublet directly with ladder line or window line, 450 ohms. And then you'll have something you can tune on 30 and above, okay? It's too short for 40. You'll be able to tune it for 40, but you're actually wasting a lot of your power's heat. So there you have it. If you'd like to help support this channel, go to patreon.com/KE0OG and sign up for the $2 or higher level. Or this works for PayPal and channel memberships and things like that. And we will send you a $2 bill to express our gratitude for that. These are rare. Well, they're not rare. You can go to any bank and get them, but they're rarely in circulation. I'll bet you most teenage clerks don't even know that the U.S. makes a $2 bill. But us old guys do, and we can read cursive too. So there you have it. Until we next meet, 73.